T-Mortimer.
Good evening.
Welcome, Terry.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to have it start off with a question. Since the public hearing was postponed, has any of the staff or councillors had any kind of correspondence or meetings with any of the developers?
What's the point you're trying
Well, I'm
to
just asking if staff has had any, other than the one meeting where Dennis and Glenn went down to Langley, has any other correspondence or meetings with the Genstar people since the public hearing?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know exactly what you mean. If you've got a point, can you
No,
make
the
it
point
to
is, I'm just asking the question. And if the answer is no, that's fine.
Kerry, there haven't been any meetings.
Okay, that's all I want. Thank you. I wrote a letter here to the Inspector of Municipalities because I was informed that I could do that. Since then, I've been informed that he's not accepting any private propositions, or I should say submissions. So is it possible that I could submit this through the public hearing process here, read the letter to them, and then submit it as to be on the record?
If it's pertinent to the bylaw, you can submit it and then you can make a comment on it.
Can I read out the letter then?
If it's pertinent to the bylaw, if it's not,
Okay.
I'll rule you out of order.
I have some very serious concerns about the district entering into a 20-year agreement, especially with the state of the economy. I understand the developers need certainty for zoning, given the large infrastructure costs. However, when they propose a satellite community far from Mission's existing infrastructure, they can't expect taxpayers to help their business. If this development goes ahead, there will already be costs to taxpayers for maintenance, ongoing public works such as fire services, road maintenance, and parks upkeep. Given that Mission and Genstar Madison have an agreement in principle, the letters from Genstar Madison of September 29th raised some very serious concerns which are fostering doubts regarding their integrity and financial ability to carry out this project.
Point of order, you.
Yes, Councillor Stevens.
Both his concerns with the 20-year agreement and the September 29th letter have been extensively covered by the Speaker on the 22nd and 25th. So this letter is simply repeating what he has previously presented in his company.
This letter is my submission, it's my opinion to send to the Inspector of Municipalities. I think I should be allowed to send that.
Terry, you go through it. I'll rule whether it's in order or it's not. But right now, what the councillor, I sustain the councillors, don't repeat other comments that you made in the past, even if you've couched it as a letter. You can skip it. You have capacity to be able to skip from what you're making repetitive.
I did ask at the public hearing if it would be appropriate for the developer to get a financial institution to put up a bond guaranteeing completion of the infrastructure. The response from the chair was, that's my opinion, that's your opinion. The language in this letter is very disconcerting, such as, quote, to ensure success, help from the district will be needed to show willingness to, and if necessary, to extract expropriation.
I'll rule you out of order if you're repeating what you've already alluded to regarding the previous letters, please.
I never read this out before. This is something I just put
No,
out.
it doesn't matter how you count it. You are repeating exactly what you said before. You have capacity to be able to decide that. If you've got anything new from the letter, you can add, Mr. Mortimer.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario I see is that the infrastructure gets started, and then due to economics and the PDA commitments, the project gets stalled, and the taxpayers end up on the hook. Therefore, it is my opinion that the owners should ask their financial institution to put up a bond guaranteeing completion of infrastructure. This should be no problem, as they are supposed to be well financed And MLA Randy Haas has been lauding Genstar as the best thing to come off since honey on toast.
I would say that you address the issues, not the personalities, please.
I wouldn't have mentioned his name, but I saw him in the room, so I thought it was okay to mention that.
No. I'll rule you out of all of that. You need to use your time wisely.
I'm trying to, but you keep getting interrupted. It's really not easy to follow along.
I'm asking you to follow the rules.
The latecomer agreement to pay as you go is mentioned. Is this latecomer agreement on the Local Government Act, or is it a municipal bylaw, or is it a policy that can be easily amended? That's a question.
Can you address that? As the Director of Finance.
The latecomer agreement is provided in municipal legislation. Carrie?
Okay. And that's for how long?
The latecomer agreement time period in legislation is currently 15 years, I believe. But one can apply for an extension to a 15-year period for latecomers.
It's generally 15 years, or I thought it was 10 years.
It was moved from 10 to 15 within the last 2 years or so, I believe.
And that applies to everybody in Mission?
It applies to the development community for development in terms of the recovery period from subsequent development that may benefit from the services that they construct.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Alternatives methods are asked for as far as grants to help out. Alternative methods of finance have been asked for, such as grants from other levels of government. Would you apply for a grant under the pretense of benefiting Mission?
No.
Would you apply for a grant, obviously, that would help out a private for-profit business? Apply to other governments?
We're not permitted to do that, Chair.
Pardon me?
We're not permitted to do
It's
that.
prohibited.
Not permitted. But, okay, would you apply these grants under the pretense of a benefiting Mission?
No.
Yeah,
I say it's no, Terry. I don't
Okay.
want to repeat myself, my friend.
That's good. Have all three parties signed this agreement? Or is it just a handshake? I don't see any signatures on the documentation.
Terry, Dennis.
Terry, none of the parties will sign the agreement unless and until council adopts the bylaws.
So the agreement that is supposed to be there is not signed, but it's in principle? Like?
The agreement is there, it's been negotiated. Both parties or all three parties understand that if the bylaws are adopted by council, the three parties will sign the agreement. If the three parties don't sign the agreement, then the zoning bylaw becomes null and void.
So this agreement that we have in front of us right now is not actually a signed document by anybody until it gets to adoption, right? Okay, so is that...
It can be signed until...
Well, it could be.
No, it can't.
But the thing is...
Dennis, Terry, I don't want you to argue with him. He has given you an answer. Continue on with your comments, please.
So it's a handshake.
No.
Is that what it's called?
Is that if you
I
feel...
guess my point is that
No,
if
if
there's no signature signed, the negotiations are still open.
You met your point. Continue on, please.
Another quote I find here is it says, complex issues are not unusual at this stage of the process. Is that a true statement?
I'm sorry.
Is that a repetition?
This is repetition. This is still the September 29th letter.
I never asked that question. Never asked that question,
Terry,
Jenny.
would I ask you not to be argumentative? Please make your comment.
Is that a true statement that at this stage of the issue that it's not unusual to have issues still in front?